Is the new album from the Rival Sons, Darkfighter, worth a listen? Let's find out. Hey everybody, it's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the Rock Squad channel, and welcome to my rock album review for the new album from the Rival Sons. It's called Darkfighter. Before we get to it, guys, if you love to rock out as much as we do here on the Rock Squad channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. Make sure to like this video. We'd appreciate that. And make sure to share this video online with your friends and fellow Rival Sons fans. Darkfighter is the 7th studio album from the Rival Sons. It's follow-up to 2019's Feral Roots, which is a record that I really enjoyed. It's their first album of 2023. They said they're releasing another album this year as well called Lightbringer. Supposed to come out later this year, so we'll see if that materializes. But I think that Rival Sons are like the best, like just all-in-out, just rock and roll band out there right now. They have great songs. They're a great band. I think that Jay Buchanan has one of the best voices in rock and roll right now, bar none. And I actually had a chance to interview the Rival Sons. About 10 years ago now. I interviewed them when I was on the air here in Hamilton on Why 108. They came into the studio. They were playing in Hamilton that day, and they came into the studio. I'll put the picture up here for you. They came into the studio, and they just hung out with me for like basically an afternoon. Just took over my radio show. We talked about everything about the band and everything. They were super nice guys, and I really lucky and feel myself really fortunate to be able to hang out with them and chat with them on the air. The thing about Rival Sons though for me is that they're not really an album band for me. I've listened to all their albums, but for every time I listen to their albums, I just kind of pick and choose a couple of tracks here and there. I think this is probably my favorite album from them, which is Great Western Valkyrie, which came out in 2014. But overall, just not an album band for me. I just like their singles and maybe some selected album tracks here and there. So I've liked their albums. I've not loved their albums, and even though I think it's a great record and I think it's a strong record, Darkfighter hasn't made me more of an album fan of Rival Sons. Yeah, this is definitely a great effort from the band. You can tell that they're trying to do new things and expand in new directions and just be more than just a kind of like a four to the floor rock and roll band, a bar band, which they haven't been that for a very long time. They're a very artistically strong band, but I can see them trying to do different things. It's just that in terms of the melodies and the overall songwriting on this album, it didn't really grab me as much as their past records. I wanted to love it as much as their past records. I wanted to love it as much, Great Western Valkyrie, but I don't think there's anything on this record that lives up to their past material, something like Electric Man or Pressure in Time or Until the Sun Comes. I feel like there's not a lot of great songs on this album that live up to those great Rival Sons songs. So it was a little bit of a disappointment for me, but let's get into it. Let's talk about the songs on Darkfighter. Kick things off on Darkfighter with a song called Mirrors, which I thought was an epic intro for this record. It starts out with an epic organ intro, which I thought was really cool. I think, Jay Buchanan came out swinging on this record with his incredible vocals. Like, I could just listen to this guy for days. And I remember telling him that when I interviewed them many years ago, that I just thought he was such an incredible vocalist. And I think this is a strong intro song. It's got a great chorus, maybe not as strong as past material. Like, it didn't grab me as much, but it's a strong intro for this particular album. And I think it was a good way to kick off Darkfighter. Then we get to one of the songs that was released as a single before Darkfighter came out. Is that Nobody Wants to Die. The band has made a really cool video for this song as well. It's got a kind of a punky intro to it. It's got a great vocal from Jay. I love the riff on this song, and there's a great drums from the drummer Mike on this as well. It's in the middle. They do some really cool things, and generally a lot of the things they do are in the Led Zeppelin vein, the Black Sabbath, the classic rock, Allman Brothers vein. Those classic 70s rock bands. But they do it so well, and they do it in such great style. And I'm not to throw any shade at other bands. Greta Van Fleet, they managed to honor their classic rock roots without just imitating it. So I really enjoyed Nobody Wants to Die. Then we get to the song, which is probably my favorite on Darkfighter, and that is Bird in the Hand. It had a nice little stomp to it. I love the chorus on the song. It's catchy as hell. Got some great harmonies on it as well. And it's poppier than maybe some of the stuff they've put out in the past. They've always had really great hooks, and they've always been really great at writing melodies, but they've never really been like a pop rock band. They've never really gone in that direction. I think maybe this song takes them slightly into that direction without going too far. And I think one of the things I liked about the production on this album is there's a lot of acoustic flourishes on this as well. There's a thing where they do on a lot of these songs where instead of bringing it up into a huge rock chorus, they actually bring it down to more understated acoustic sound, and I thought that was cool. So I really enjoyed Bird in the Hand. Rapture was a good song from the Rival Sons on Darkfighter. You know, I still think that JB Cannon is really such like a top tier rock vocalist. He sounds incredible on this song and this record. And another thing about this record in terms of the songwriting is that the chord changes are different. The chord changes, and this is a good thing, don't necessarily go in the direction where you think they're going. You start with one chord, you think it's going to go here, and it actually goes slightly in another direction. I thought that's a testament to their ability to grow as songwriters. It doesn't necessarily add to the catchiness of the album in general, but I think it is really, really cool that they do it on this. So I got a cool guitar tone on this as well. They break it down. They do an acoustic chorus again, which is a theme that runs through Darkfighter, and I think it's cool. I think one of my favorites of the tracks they released before Darkfighter came out, so I really enjoyed it. Rapture. Guillotine is a cool song on this album as well. Didn't really grab me as much as I wanted it to. Starts out of the gate really hot, really, really strong for the band. It's got some heavy and fuzzy guitar sounds on it as well. The band does have a lot of dynamics, which is really cool to hear. They know how to go between soft and heavy and everywhere between, so you know that you're not going to get just one sound from the Rival Sons, that they will take you on that journey with those peaks and valleys and have those dynamics there for you as well. It didn't jump out to me as some of the other songs on this record. It wasn't as hooky as I wanted to be, which is kind of a complaint that I have throughout this whole album in general. But it was a cool song. So Guillotine, not too bad. One of the decent tracks on Darkfighter. Some of the other songs on this record, I'm just going to kind of group them all together. We only got 8 songs on this album, so it's not like we have a huge sample size to go from. But some of the other songs, they didn't grab me as much as I wanted to. Bright Light had a cool riff on it as well. Melodies are okay, maybe not as strong as past Rival Sons melodies, but it does continue that theme of them breaking things down into an acoustic kind of sound mixed with fuzzy guitars and big drums, which is what they do so well. Horse's Breath has another epic intro on as well. Definitely got some Zeppelin vibes from this. It's very much classic rock, and the band is not afraid to dig into that, because they're one of the better of the classic rock bands that are out there right now in 2023. Again, didn't grab me like I thought it should, but for 8 songs, I expected better songs on this record. And then it finishes off with kind of a typical kind of ending track on there as well, which is Dark Side, which was quiet. It was an end track, great vocal from JB Cannon. It was kind of slow and meandering, and it was okay. Like, again, the songs are okay on this album. They just don't really jump out to me as much as I wanted to. And unfortunately, the final track on this, Dark Side, didn't really grab me. So overall, although I think that Darkfighter is a strong artistic effort from the band, and it's great to see them, Rival Sons, branching out in different directions and doing different things, and not just sticking to be, like a classic rock band all the time. They're really trying to do new things. They still haven't turned me into a Rival Sons album guy. I'm still very much a singles guy from Rival Sons, even though I love their music and I think they're a fantastic band. Solid rock and roll performances on this entire thing. They are a great band. These guys know how to play. They're tight as fuck. They are a great band. Cannot understate that as much, how talented the Rival Sons are, but with 8 tracks, I was expecting a little bit more. Of course, they have another album coming out this year called Lightbringer, which will feature some additional tracks, so maybe they save some for that as well. But I think overall they could have used some more songs on this as well, and they could have used some better songs. I kind of feel a little bit shortchanged that we only got 8 songs on this Rival Sons record. But again, if they're putting out 2 this year, I'm sure that's more than enough. Maybe not as much as Smashing Pumpkins, who have given us 33 new songs, but we can't compare them to that. They're going on tour together. Rival Sons and Smashing Pumpkins are going on tour together this summer. And when you think about Rival Sons, at their core, they're a rock and roll band, right? They're just a rock and roll band. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're doing things within a certain framework. Maybe sometimes they can branch out like they do on this record, but then it kind of comes at the expense of the melody, which is something that, it's kind of a shame for me, because there are songs in the Rival Sons catalog that I consider to be really catchy, but maybe just not on this record. So I think maybe it's not as strong as a record as I was hoping it would be, but it's still a decent effort from the Rival Sons. So I'm going to give Darkfighter by the Rival Sons a 3 out of 5. Yeah, sometimes I feel like these guys just have too much grandiosity. I feel like they're trying to do too many big things, whoa! And then sometimes they don't really get there in terms of the melody. But that's just my thoughts on the new album from the Rival Sons. All right, guys, that is it for me. That is my rock album review for the new album, Darkfighter, from the Rival Sons. Let me know what you thought of the record in the comments below. Make sure to like this video. Appreciate that. Make sure to subscribe to us here on the Rock Squad channel so you don't miss out on future videos. You can follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Rock Squad Pod. And if you want to check out my band as well, you can check us out at foolsunion.com. But I'll see you guys again for another rock album review. I just did 3 of them this weekend, so I'm going to go take a nap. But we'll see you guys again for another rock album review. Until then, rock on, everybody.